So this is 2012 to 2013. So 29 to 30 years old. Um, I put the seed into Lydia's mind over the summer about learning. I mean, she was always wanting to learn. Um, she just didn't have the right person or people to show her. And well, she met the right person with me because I won't stop teaching people. Like that's my passion. But anyway, I put the seed inside of her mind about getting her GED. Because she was really smart and like she soaked up almost every single thing that I taught her. And so I understand she could learn. But she was had dropped out of high school and she had her twins and her son, Sir. The twins is Maya and Malia, and wasn't I can't say it wouldn't have been a bright of a future. But the way United States is set up is like you have to have like at least like a GED, high school education, to get any type of decent type of job. I just wanted to set her up on the right path. And so I went to Books a Million and I bought her a book, specific GED. And instead of going over like Greek mythology or like geography or like quantum physics or any all my other books that I have, or history or something like that, I wanted to be specifically focused on just the GED. Because if she could learn all these other things, if she focused all that attention on the one thing, um, I thought she would really do well. And and of course, she was learning like really quickly, and we got like to like a small rut, um, because she wanted to be able to answer everything, and she was getting like questions wrong. And I told her, I said, look, and I wasn't doing this to be nice because I do it with myself as well. I said, make as many mistakes as you can because like the more mistakes you make, when you correct them, it'll stick to your memory better, and that loosened her up a lot. Like understanding that she can mess up, she doesn't have to be perfect. And I remember one day she has like dyslexia or whatever, which I give her even more credit because I don't even have that disadvantage, and she has that disadvantage, and she still is able to learn, but she had like hard time reading. So like people with dyslexia, I guess like see things backwards sometimes. And she wanted to start crying because she wouldn't have been able to read like really fast. I told her read as slow as you can, and gonna read over and over it again until you finally get it. And yeah, that worked out very well. And she learned majority of the book. Um, she would come up almost every day, and we just kept going over and over it again until she finally got it, and then she graduated in August of 2012, and it brought a tears to my eye, and like so I was sitting inside the audience, and I remember they let some of the students go up and talk. And Lydia's very loud. She loves talking. Like she, I guess that's why we click so well because like I don't talk much and she talks a lot, so she get more microphone time, I guess you'll say. And I thought it was cool because it was just like a GED. Like people don't really like people like look down upon people who get a GED, but I look up upon them because they're taking the extra time to get their education, whatever like that. And what surprised me was Randy Roach. He was the mayor of the city at the time. He came to their graduation at LaGrange. Um, because that's where their graduation being held. And of course, Lydia has to get on the mic and talk, and she thanked me for helping her learn and whatnot. And it's like special parts of my heart. Like all the things I accomplished inside life, buying like material stuff like a house or like an escalator, or something. None of that even compared to when you can help somebody out like that. And just seeing it grow on their own, just planting the seed and just watching it grow on its own. I took I took December. December came around, November, December-ish, 2012. I took a motorcycle class, and cause like I'm the type of person I like formally learning something. Like I knew I could have practiced, like at the civic center or something, but I like to know like all the rules or whatnot, like to be able to get my license or whatnot. And yeah, I sucked on like the first day. Like I damn near crash. But yeah, those teachers they held it out through with me, and ended up passing that class. Um, it was at I want to say Chenault, uh, someone like Chenault or something. And I bought a Ninja 650 like a week later. I bought it brand new from Beaumont. I remember having to driving my truck there and having to rent a U-Haul to bring it back. And I absolutely like sucked at riding a motorcycle. I was scared out of my mind because it's easy to do like a control route like at Chenault or whatnot, But when you're like out there on the real streets and like there's real cars passing around and you're not inside this freaking 10-ton whatever vehicle that if it hits you it's okay. You're inside like this little small 1 ton, maybe 1,000 pound, whatever, 500 pounds, whatever the motorcycle weighs, and they could just wipe you out. Like some 18-year-old, 17-year-old just got their license, is not paying attention, talking, can just kill you that quickly. So reality started to sit in, and I would take like little small rides, like around like my subdivision. I remember one time I drove to this church that was near my house, like about 2 or 3 in the morning, whatever. And yeah, scared out of my life. And I remember Kenna came. His parents, they were my neighbors in the Terrace growing up, and ended up buying a house like almost like directly in front of me in Providence. Had their house built there, and so Kenna would came visit his parents for Christmas. And oh, was it? No, it wasn't there yet. Um, they were still staying, but they did end up buying. I want to say like 2014, 2015, when they ended up having the house built across the street from mine, whatnot. But so Kenna would come down from. Um, I want to say he was in Dallas around this time, Dallas or Florida, maybe. And he would go visit his parents inside the terrace because I was still living next to my parents' house. And so he drove his bike from his parents' house to mine. Because I remember first I thought they was living there, but then I remember we took a picture of both the bikes, and when we took the picture, there was no house there because they were still building houses. Because I was like the first house, it was like the fifth house built, but I was the first house on that street to be built, and then all the rest of the houses came around. Cause it was like a brand new subdivision or whatnot. But it was Christmas Eve, and so Kenneth came. I had just gotten an accident, like I want to say like a week or 2 weeks before then, where I fell down and I jammed my clutch part thing on the motorcycle. You had to yank it out to be able to drive the bike. I got in a lot of wrecks on that motorcycle. A lot of skin was torn off. Yeah, but Kenny came and I was able to pull the little whatever piece out so it didn't um, damage the bike even more. Oh, that was from that wreck. I was coming back I went to Rite Aid, and I was coming back from Rite Aid. So this is probably like, yeah, 2 weeks before that Christmas Eve, whatever. And my instructor always said, wherever you look, that's where the bike's gonna go. And I kept looking at the grass. I was like, don't hit this grass. Don't hit this grass. Don't hit this grass. And next thing you know, for sure, went straight into the grass. Yeah. And so, but whatever. Got everything fixed or whatnot. And then I was finally Ken and I drove around 210, which I was still scared as usual. Um, yeah, but one day I finally got brave enough to, like, instead of doing like interstate ride where it's kind of like everybody's going to the same, like to go further within my neighbor within where I lived at. I drove my bike to Planet Fitness. Yeah, one of the greatest decisions of my life. Um, let me see. Should I say that part? I'll wait till this year, 2022. But there's a story between like I want to say August 22nd. I met Lisa Villegas, and then 6 days later I met Derek Guidry, and they ended up getting married or whatnot. But that's a whole nother story. I'll talk more about that in 2022. Um, but yeah, I drove my bike to the Planet Fitness on January 28th, and I was leaving the gym. It was just a normal gym day, besides like riding my bike there and whatnot. And then while I'm walking out, not thinking anything, I'm just hoping I don't die on the ride home, you know? Um, I'm getting on my bike, and then this bright skinned cat comes out. Derek Gidry. I have no clue this guy. Never seen him before. Never talked to him before. And he was just like, "Man, who do you ride with?" And I was like, "Ride solo. I ride by myself. Shit, I barely could ride. You know, uh, I don't ride with a crew or whatnot. You know." And he was like, he says, every single Sunday, like there's a group of guys, whatever, that meets up at his parents' house, and they all just go riding on the interstate. And I was like, cool, you know, because I already took my little interstate ride with Kenneth. I was like, I can handle this or whatnot. And so uh, we ended up exchanging numbers, whatever. And I never told Derek this. I'm like very picky on people who I let into my inner circle, so I did like a whole Facebook investigation on Derek before uh, I actually ended up going take that ride with him, you know. And yeah, he had it going on. He had a truck, he had a house, he had his motorcycle. I was like, okay, okay, this is cool, you know. Uh, so yeah, we started going to the gym together, and um, I actually went there. I met him. That was okay. I'm getting ahead of myself because that was after the Panama. Anyway, him and I kept going to the gym together, whatever like that, and I would go visit him at his house or whatnot in Iowa. Got brave enough to drive my motorcycle all the way to Iowa or whatnot. And then like a month later, so it was January 28th, so February passed, and during February I was like, I said, I told him like there's a beach party, like a spring break in Panama City every single March or whatever in Panama City beach at Panama City Beach in Florida. I was like, "You want to roll?" He was like, "Cool." He was like, "I'm asking my boss is working at Roto-Roots or something." He's like, "I'm asking my boss if I can get off or whatnot, you know." And plus, I would say Kenna was living in Panama at this time because I was living in Destin or Panama, or whatever one of them little cities near Panama. So I want to say he had already left, or he hadn't left to go to Fort Worth yet. And I was like, cool, because we could go down there and we could meet up with my homeboy Kenneth that I grew up with, and we could ride bikes. He could come ride bikes with us in Panama or whatnot. And then so barely known this guy a month, you know. He was like cool, and then like March came around, and he got the okay to take off of work, and so I ended up ended up borrowing one of his friend Marvin. I want to say it's like Marvin Smith. Maybe it's not Marvin Smith. Whatever the guy, real cool guy, man. He rode bikes as well, and he let us borrow his trailer so I could hook it up to the back of my truck and take both our bikes off to Panama. And yeah, I took a nap at Derek's house. I slept inside his son's room, and about 2 o'clock, for some reason, Derek being white, because I was waiting to sleep all night and leave at like 10 o'clock that morning. But Derek wants to leave at 2 a.m. because he wants to beat the traffic, even though he had no clue if there's even traffic there. But anyway, we rode out at 2 in the morning, and we made it there. It took about like a 6 hour drive. Made it there. Left about maybe 3 or 4. Made it there inside the morning time, so about like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. We got finally to Panama, and the first thing this guy wants to do is go on a freaking slingshot ride. And like I have a thing about, I don't I don't care about heights, but I don't care about any type of carnival slingshot ride where they like pull your hair down and then they like let go of this elastic thing and you shoot up inside the air. And I'm like, oh my god, so I come to die because this guy wants to get on the slingshot. But we did it. I was super scared as usual, but 'cause I didn't want to look weak again, kind of like with the whole Linda situation. Yeah, I hopped on that thing and we had an amazing ride. I wish we would have did the video for it, but we didn't. Um, but it's all logged inside of my big head. We met some really cool people. We met Brenda, Yoli, and Leanne. I want to say Yola and Leanne was Puerto Rican and Brenda was Mexican, but they was all Hispanic. Very pretty girls, you know. Um, but I can't explain it, man. Um, like Derek and I was just cool vibe, like that whole trip, you know. It was like hearing a song for the first time, and you just know you're just gonna love this song, you know. Like I just knew that was gonna be like my brother, you know. Like yeah. So we had fun there. We hung out with Yola and Brenda and all of them, like at the beach or whatnot, and had a really good time um, there. And like I said, like even though it hasn't even been 2 months because March 28th would have made 2 months, and I just knew this was gonna do it's gonna be my friend for the rest of my life, you know, and this also like besides like I mean if I was like add up like my top 5 moments of my life, that that was definitely one of my favorite days of my life. I remember we made it back. We went eat at Outback, and we just laughed and talked about the whole trip. And yeah, that was pretty much the whole Panama. I mean, there's a lot more details that goes inside there, but I don't want to talk too much about a lot of stuff. I guess. Uh, but yeah, I was teaching Lydia. When we made it back, whatever. I was teaching Lydia how to ride a motorcycle and how to play chess or whatnot. And I'll let her ride through like my neighborhood and ride at like the city center and like the Burton Coliseum. And yeah, she enjoyed riding on the back of a bike. Um, I remember so I was teaching motorcycle and chess because she already had done her GED or whatnot, and I knew she could pretty much learn anything. And so I remember it was like April 2nd, 2013. We met my friend Dennis at Pit Grill because I just taught Lydia how to play chess for like 2 months or something like that. But she was like really good. Like she really caught on a lot. And I remember I was like, play him because Dennis is like, oh, I've been playing chess my whole life. I'm good at chess. You're not gonna let somebody 2 months come beat me. And she was so nervous. I remember her face. She wanted to hide like her face or whatnot. And she played him. She kicked his ass. And I was just looking at her. She was like doing all the moves that I probably would have done, of course, as I taught her whatnot, you know. But yeah, I was excited. I was excited just as she was when she checkmated him and whatnot. And um, about 2 weeks later, I finally went ride with Derek and his crew. So it was like six of us, 6 or 7, 8, 9, whatever. Met up at Derek's house, and them boys was going like 120, 130 something on the interstate. Like I was used to like riding with Kenneth. I mean, like one time I rode with Kenneth, it was going like perfectly speed limit, like 60 and 70 miles per hour, you know, on like I-10 and 210. These guys didn't care. Like they was hitting like above 100. And I remember I was keeping up with it for a little while. I was going like 110, 120, whatever like that. And there was like this curve that goes from I-10 that goes back to 210. And I see my life flash before my eyes. Like I had to slow the bike all the way down to like 30 miles, 40 miles per hour to take that curve. Them boys just zipping that curve. I guess they had done it so much. And I was like, next time I go ride with them next Sunday, I'm gonna pop a wheelie. So I was like practicing inside like my little neighborhood. Like I'll hit the clutch and I'll pop it, and I'll come up like about 2 inches, maybe 2 inches, 3 inches, whatever like that, and I'll come back down. I was like, man, I gotta get this thing up, whatever like that. So I kept practicing my little wheelie or whatnot, and yeah, I was coming home one day and I wanted to practice my little wheelie or whatnot, and this was April 22nd, 2013. I I redlined because I wanted to get the wheel high. I redlined it, and then I popped the clutch, and then the bike flew straight from under me, and it went like all the way like 2 houses down. Because I was about 2 houses down from mine inside my neighborhood, and I landed feet first at like a 30 mile per hour thing, and so my body didn't go forward or backward, just stopped, and so like my tibia, my legs just split, and I just dropped. And I remember looking at my leg, and I seen like a bone, like almost like coming through like the skin or whatnot. And my dumb ass was like, okay, good thing I have the next 2 days off. Yeah, more like the next 4 months off. But I was supposed to meet Derek that night to go run track at Alway. And he was like, man, when you come, bring some brownies, because I had like some brownies. I always kept brownies at the house, you know? And then, yeah, that was cut short from um, from me having to go through that wreck, whatever. And then when I was laying on the ground, um, I remember my neighbor, that's like 2 houses down, whatever. She came outside. She's like, "Do you want me to call the ambulance?" And I was thinking to myself, I didn't want to be a dick. I was like, no, I'm just walk this off. I see my bone hanging out of my body, out of my skin, damn near. But I'm just don't call the ambulance. I'm gonna walk there, you know. But I didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, just call the ambulance or whatnot. So I just laid on the ground, and the ambulance came, and every single bump, man, like I felt it. Like I felt like my leg was about to come up. My left leg for sure, because that was the worst one. Both of them got broken, but my left was worse, and I felt like it was just about to just break through my leg, whatever, not whatever. And so they took me to Memorial Hospital, and I guess I want to say they didn't think I had health insurance because they said like the next one won't be available for like another 4 or 5 hours. And I was like, what can I do? You know, I'm just a guy laying on this bed gurney, whatever you want to call that thing. You know, I was just in the middle of a hallway. And but then I showed them my insurance card because I had like Blue Cross Blue Shield, you know, and miraculously, in the next 4 minutes instead of 4 hours, a room came available, and it was like this corner suite type room, whatever, suite type room. Um, so then like uh, they called my parents, and my parents, like, I guess I can't tell people like what the injury is, so they was like devastated when they walked inside the room. And me, ever since a kid, I just always like I always love laughing. I always like making jokes or whatnot, you know. And I used to do this to my mom. um, so my mom and dad walked inside the room, and the doctor was like I wanted to make a joke, but I seen my mom's face, you know. I wanted to tell her my legs was already off, you know. But I was like, nah, not a good time to joke, you know. And so the doctor came back inside the room. He was like, man, you did a really amazing job on breaking your legs, if that's like a compliment or something, you know. And he was like, yeah, you split, like, this is my legs. I split my tibia in the middle on both of my legs. And my legs was like so swollen, like you couldn't even recognize that it was a leg. Like my mom was even shocked when she looked at it. And I did all the little scans or whatever like that. And the doctor came back and he was like, we might have to amputate your left leg. And I was like, oh my god, I did not know. I didn't know it was that serious, you know. Um, but then yeah, because I had so much damage or whatever. And then Derek had called my cell phone, and he was like, "Where you at?" And I was like, "At Memorial Hospital." He was like, "What are you doing there?" And I was like, "I got out of a motorcycle accident, man. I broke my legs, whatever, like that." And he was like, I'm on my way right now. I was like, nah, man, I'm good, you know. Just come like tomorrow or something, or like another day, just trying to brush it off, you know. And he was like, nah. He's like, I'm coming there right now. And he asked for the room number, and I said, they're moving because they was moving me to another room. That was just like the little like first room, whatever. And then they was moving me to like corner suite room or whatnot. And then I was like, I don't even know I don't even know the room number, you know. And so he showed up, and he was with Donald LeBlanc, which is another rider, motorcycle rider. Because I remember they had on their whole motorcycle gear and their helmets, whatever. And I want to say because they took me to the other room, and I want to say Derek had to ask like one of the nurses or like the stations, whatever, like that, what room I was inside, because he ended up finding my room. You know, listen to the shit I say, but I mean, a very amazing friend, like, because then I had only barely known him February, March, April, barely even 3 months, and he was willing to drop everything he had just to come see me. It really means a lot. Um, and it was funny because like while I was laying there, all messed up, uh, Derek was like, "So you're not gonna give me a brownie?" I was like, "This mother. Who cares about a brownie? I'm about to get my freaking legs amputated, whatever like that." But eventually, they found a good urologist, Dr. Axelrad, like an amazing orthopedic. He said he'll be able to save both my legs and just put like a screws and like a metal bar from like my knee to my shin or whatnot. And yeah, so the next day I go into surgery. It's about like 7 hours straight, and I didn't want to call. I didn't want to worry anybody. Like I was going to take this on the chin like by myself, you know. And so I didn't call Linda because I didn't want her to have to leave her school or miss school or whatnot. Well, my mom ended up calling her or whatnot, but I was still like knocked out during this time under anesthesia. This was my second surgery besides my vasectomy. Um, yeah, and I remember waking up. The surgery went well or whatnot, and I woke up and I seen Devin, my parents, and Linda was all inside the recovery room or whatnot. And my parents came visit me a lot, of course, you know, because I was at the hospital. I want to say for like 5 days, 5 or 6 days. And my parents came, and Derek came at least like 2 to 3 times. Because the second time he also brought like 3 or 4 of his biker people that he rode with inside the clique. I want to say this time that a bald head guy, not Byron Biagas, but another bald head guy named Byron, that's dark skin. He rode bikes with Derek, and he came visit me with Derek. It's a cool little time, you know, because I was out there like literally couldn't move. I was stuck inside of a bed, like because my legs was gone, and yeah, I spent 5 days there on morphine because it was like an extreme, like extreme pain, and it was like unbearable at sometimes. But I guess I have a pretty good pain threshold when I have to. And yeah, I finally checked out of the hospital, and I couldn't even stay inside of my own house. That I wasn't even a year old. So I moved in there like May 29th of 2012. This is like April 27th of 2013. And good thing I had amazing parents. Like, they took care, because I had to get inside of a wheelchair. I couldn't bear any pressure on any of my legs, any weight on my legs. And so took my little wheelchair and all my clothes from my house. I was just sitting there while I'm paying mortgage on it, and moved into my parents' house. And luckily, I'm like really good with money, you know, because I had enough, because I still had mortgage, electricity bill, internet, cell phone bill. Life still happens, you know, by zero income because I can't go to work for the next 4 months. And yeah, I had luckily I had a vast amount of money um, that I was able to get deducted, you know, through my auto pay and keep my house and every single thing throughout this whole thing, you know. Um, I remember the pain even when I went home, it was still like unbearable. So it was causing me not to sleep. And Dr. Axelrad prescribed me Valium to sleep. He already gave me oxycodone, but oxycodone, they were like, "Oh, you're gonna get addicted to this." Taking oxycodone, like I probably had like a better reaction taking like Advil. It done almost nothing for me, you know. Especially to stop the pain and the anxiety, whatever. And so Valium helped out with the anxiety for sure, because I remember my anxiety was like really high, and then it dropped like super low for my PTSD because I kept replaying like the motorcycle accident inside of my head or whatnot. And all I remember was like the first night I took it, I was like going to sleep, and then I would like wake up from anxiety, whatever, like that. And then I took the pill, whatnot, and then I tried to go to sleep, and I tried to wake up, you know, like from my anxiety, but the pill was already like kicking in, and I just remember seeing like this turtle's like paw just kept like rubbing like the side of a fish tank, and it made me calm enough to be able to fall asleep. Got this freaking red line for putting my resting my hand on this fan. Um, Random. Uh, but um, I had a house therapist, in-house therapist, Dr. Perry, who was really good. Like work on my motions in my foot, you know, in-house therapy, whatever. Uh, Eventually, I was able to go to an outside therapist, Doctor. I don't know if it's a doctor, or not. I call him Doctor. Doctor Shannon, which was a guy, which I thought it would have been a female or whatnot, and he had a physical therapy building on Second Avenue. And Dr. Axelrod said, make sure if you ever go to physical therapy, make sure it has a swimming pool, because like a swimming pool takes off like 75% of the weight on your body, you know. So I was able to learn how to walk again inside of a pool. Uh, Long journey, but it was definitely um, worth it. Having to go there and learning how to walk all over again. Um, During this time, Lydia, like during my accident while staying in my parents' house, Lydia wants to further her education, you know, on her own, like get an actual degree. GED wasn't good enough for her, which I'm very proud of her for even thinking like that, you know. And I was like, what makes you super? What makes you interested? Like, just in case you want to pick like a field to go inside, because I didn't want to go inside of college and just pick some random thing like I did. I wanted her to something that actually stuck inside of her mind that she wanted to learn. She says the apartment complex she was living inside of was like very bad, you know. So you have like people who do drugs or like walking around. She was like, I'm very interested in how drugs like affect the mind of like people, whatever, like that. And it was her idea to take a pharmacy tech at Sewella, and she did all the research on her own. She ended up getting a grant to be able to go to Sewella, and I promised I'll help her out with anything that she needed to, whatever, like that. And so my mom would drop. She would go to the library, Lake Charles Library, and my mom would drop me off to the library, and we would meet there. And I would help her with schooling, like memorizing like certain drugs, and I would have her teach it to me as if I didn't know. Like I would memorize and act like I don't know, and then I'll have her tell me the name of the drugs and whatnot, and she'll get it wrong. I'm like, no, that's not it. Blah blah blah. If she get it right, I'll give her like a fist bump or whatnot, you know. Um, and like I was super proud of her. And she graduated from Sewella, and she became a pharmacy technician. You know, from a girl who stayed in the house and watched Family Guy all day to actually getting a degree. Like that brought like super tears, like both of my eyes, versus just getting like a GED, whatever. There's a lot of things, like I said, a lot of things I accomplished in life, but seeing her do those two things was like really like amazing. Going to like a college graduate, and yeah, that was awesome. And I can't even take like all the credit for it, you know, because like all I did was presenting the information there, and she's the one that soaked it up and did all the work on her own to be able to graduate. Uh, Derek, he would come to my house, to my parents' house, whatever, to pick me up to go eat at Chili's. And Derek didn't care if I was missing. If I would have got my arms and my legs amputated, he would have still came visit me. Uh, this made me like love this dude even more, man. And So he would come pick me up at my parents and to get me like out the house or whatever like that. And he'll throw his like my wheelchair in like the back of his truck. And I would get in the truck and we'll go to Chili's and eat, man. Just like everything was normal. And Kenna was out of states. Byron came visit like once or twice. Yeah. And yeah, that was about it from there. But that was like a super, I mean, still in the journey, but super big journey going through that whole recovery stage or whatever. And I started watching The Walking Dead, and it was really good. Like, Linda will come over every now and then from Baton Rouge, and we'll go like watch a movie. I think we watched like what did we watch together? The one with Brad Pitt and Zombies X or something, some movie like that. I'll think of the name later, whatever. I'll let it run my background programs. And so, yeah, we'll relax at the house. We'll go to the movie theater sometimes, whatever. And we'll get like Domino's Pizza and we'll watch, oh no, it wasn't X, it was called World War Z. Yeah, I knew it had a letter inside there somewhere. Sorry for that. And yeah, we watched The Walking Dead, and eventually, like after 3 months, I ended up moving back to my house. I was able to get crutches, and so I was able to drive again. Being able to drive again, you have no how important it is. Just over something that's simple, driving. You take it for granted. But it means a lot, especially walking again. Just being on crutches meant a lot to me. Uh, I remember Derek and I went to Daryl's. This is who I was on my crutches. We also went to a party at LaBerge. I remember seeing Draper Simeon. I haven't seen him since like middle school. Like, yeah, it was cool seeing him, whatever. And LaBerge ended up because I was only supposed to have 3 months off. That was a policy or whatnot. And then LaBerge ended up letting me take another month off. And it was just enough time, like blessings from God, like for Dr. Axelrad to approve me to have full weight bearing on both my legs or whatnot. And it was dreadful knowing I had to go back to work, and my legs still wasn't like fully healed. I could apply pressure, but it still felt weird. I remember the day before I went back to work, Derek and I would go eat at Steamboat Bills on Broad Street. And like I wanted to enjoy the moment, but I really couldn't because I was like, man, tomorrow I'm gonna have to go back to work. I don't even know if I'll be able to stand up for like 8 hours straight, dealing with not. And the first day I went back, we couldn't have crutches, and all you can have is like a cane. And I was like, I'm gonna try this by myself, without the crutches or without the cane. And boy, my legs was in super pain. And so I signed the EO list, and I was able to get out. It's called the early out list. If enough people, tables close, and there's more dealers than tables, you get to leave work early. And I was able to leave work early that day, like in like tear dropping pain. Um, the next day, I came back with this little. I went to Walgreens. I bought this little 3-prong um, cane, like an old man. But I couldn't have like a one thing like this because it wouldn't be able to stand up. I have to lean it against things. But with the three things, it was able to a cane that could stand up on its own, whatever. And yeah, I looked like an old man, but boy, I needed that. I needed that help badly. And my legs are still like in heavy pain. Like, luckily, like for that EO list, I didn't have to do like a full 8 hours every single day because if I had to do that, I would just have to quit, and just do like a rehire like the next 6 months because it was extreme pain. But I have a pretty good high pain threshold, whatnot. And yeah, the pain would be so bad where I would like just start like profusely like just sweating. I would just like break up into a whole like sweat, no matter how cold it was, whatever like that. But eventually it started getting better and better, and I could walk again normal because I was willing to take that pain. And yeah, I just want to thank Doctor Axelrad. He's the orthopedic, same thing, whatever. but being able to me to get back on my feet again, and even though during the hard times, I still had a beautiful year. Seeing like Liddy go through all that, getting to meet, hang out with Derek, and all the stuff like that. Yeah, so it's still a positive year.